What's up everybody, Cloudchord here. I recently dropped a 20-minute performance that I did all in one take and went between a bunch of different instruments. Today I'm going to walk you through how I pulled that off. So part one, I show you my guitars and my hardware, my pedals and all that. And then part two, I show you what's under the hood in Ableton Live and how I structure my live sets. So let's dig in, here we go. And oh snap, I forgot to mention in the intro, part 3, probably the reason why you're here, the breakdown of the actual live performance template set that you can download. We'll dig into that. Under the hood, no stone unturned. What's up everybody, I'm Cloudchord. I'm live in Estuary Studios in Austin, Texas, and I want to walk you through my live setup here. So first of all, I got a series of guitars, and I'm going all direct today. Many of you know my amp setup inside Ableton Live. I've released those templates. So I'm going direct, and what I'm doing is I'm just going into a Morley volume pedal, and then I got a Bad Horsey Morley wah-wah. And then after that, I go into the highly esteemed Kelly 76 compressor. I love that. So that's my guitar tone, and actually to change my amp settings down here on the Keith McMillan soft step, buttons 1 and 6 toggle through my sound. So for example, I can go up to a higher sound and then I select it with 7. Now I'm on a different preset. I go down 2 more and I'm on a different preset there. And also in this rack here is my auto wah. And then I have the infamous Cloudchord digital dive bombs. That's the fast one, here's the slow one. And then these last 4 buttons are my looper, and this is record, overdub, play, and stop. And let me show you how those work. I'll get a little beat going here. I have it quantized to 1 bar, so I can hit record early, and here we go. And there's the loop. I can hit overdub and add on top of it. So that's my guitar chain, and then I also have down here my lap steel. It's going into a Keeley compressor. Love that compressor. And then just a simple Dunlop volume pedal. And that is also feeding into the same channel, so I can do lap steel loops, which I do later on in that live set. And then one of the last things that I've just added to my rig here is this USB expression pedal, which is super tight. It allows me to get a long fade to gray type delay at the end of phrases. Check this out, I'll play a chord. Depending on what the tempo is how long the delay will be. So let's hear it like in context of a beat. So I can go hands free, it's still ringing out. So that's one of the secret weapons. And then of course the push is my main controller here with Ableton Live, and later in this tutorial I'll show you all about my clip automation. And then last but not least is the amazing Fender Rhodes here. And that's also running through Ableton Live as well. So thanks for watching. Let's dig into my actual live set now. Okay y'all, so this is what is under the hood of the live set from that performance video that I put out not too long ago. You can see the little tag up top there. It's also in the info below on this video. So let's look at the skeleton of this layout, okay? I have 3 decks. Those are basically playing my beats behind me, right? So here's how the video started, right? So right now it's really just playing this. This is my background. You'll see it's warped to the tempo. And even in the scene itself, the scene has automation for that tempo so that I just know that it'll be the right tempo at all the time. So each deck, which does my playback for my background, has 2 simple things on it. Just a high and low cut for auto filter. That's all I do. And I used to DJ with an APC 40. I recently moved to the push so I can also do note mode like this, which you saw. So I can do chords and stuff like that. Because I find that for me, the most exciting stuff is, and the thing that people resonate with most is my musicianship and not necessarily my DJ-isms, you know what I'm saying? So check this out. With the auto filters on each track, let me just give you an example of how I would use them. Use them for transitions. And so if I'm playing this first beat, I can just go over here, my controller, and I can slowly bring that out, you know, and I could have brought in another beat, right? And slowly, 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 the first tune goes away. I could have done it the other way too on the second auto filter. So that's the gist. I just use auto filters for my transitions. We'll come back to that in a second. Let's get to the live portion of it. So I have 3 live channels. I have my guitar, which just has my guitar racks. And here is what it sounds like. So what you get in the deluxe version of this set is all these guitar racks. And if you bought my deluxe before Fret Not, this actually has some new settings in it that are tailored for each of these songs. That's why I love doing this, because I can structure the gain differently depending on what guitar I'm using. It's really cool. And I had mentioned in the beginning of this video, if you look down below here, I have the soft step in the third view down below. Number 1 moves down, so you can see when I hit number 1 and we look in the bottom left hand corner, look at that. It's moving around like that, right? And then 6 will move it up, and then 7 will select it. So if I want something super ambient, I can do this one. And I can go here for a drier tone. If I want, I use Slapback on Octave Memory, the second one. So that is my guitar channel. I also have a Guitar Rig 5 preset in here. I'm going to leave it in for the deluxe, and if you have Guitar Rig, you're stoked, because then you have my auto filter. It's just this. So, and I have mentioned most of this kind of stuff that I've covered in the past 90 seconds in both of my guitar template videos. So check those up top in the card. Okay, so the cool thing about the auto filter, as I mentioned, number 2 turns that on and off. So without, and then I can just hit number 2 and it turns it on. Great. And then I also mentioned about the digital dive bombs. Check out that tutorial. I go in depth there. Here's the slow one. And real quick, if you're confused about how I move down and back and forth with these, what it is, if we go to the MIDI mapping, Command or Control M, you'll see these buttons appear. Look, they aren't there when you're not MIDI mapping. If you go to MIDI mapping, let me delete them. So this is the move down in snapshots, this is the move up, and then this is the select. So that is how I created those, and then I just mapped them to buttons on my soft step. Let's look at how my looper is structured, because this is super clutch here, okay? So you notice my guitar, my lap steel, and my Rhodes are all grouped to a channel called live. The reason why I do that is because look over here in my loop channel, okay? Look, I have a series of loopers. The only reason why I did this is because you can't do MIDI mapping for record length. So I was forced to create different chains with different lengths because I didn't want to have to go in and mouse click this in the middle of my set. That's pretty counterintuitive. Ableton, that would be an amazing update if we could MIDI map this, right? So, but nonetheless, let me show you what's going on here. So you'll notice on my looper channel right here, the audio is in from the live group, which means I can send my guitar I can send my Rhodes, and I could send my lap steel, which I don't have hooked up right now. I could send all of those to a looper, and so I could have multiple instruments on a single loop. So let me demonstrate how I do that. And as I mentioned before in the beginning, buttons 4, 5, 9, and 0 are dedicated to my looper in my soft step. Okay, so let's give this looper a shot. 2. Here we go. Cool, so that's my 2-bar looper. I can throw it into overdub down here, and then so that's the gist. All my live instruments go to one live channel, and that feeds the looper. One of the key things with the looper is that you want to have this setting right here, input output, to be never. That means the looper channel only has audio out when it is doing a loop. The reason why I do it this way and not just have separate loopers on each live channel is so I can control the looper. It can be a different volume than my live channel if I want to fade it out, or if I want to do fade to gray effects, kind of like this. It just gives me a lot more freedom. So what we've covered is my decks with the auto filters, and then my live group. So the lap steel and the Rhodes both just have my deluxe amp that you have seen before. And then we looked at my looper channel. This effects channel is just a utility where it has some kind of crash or sound design for the beginning of new songs. So for example, right here, a little crash came in at the top there. So just a little utility channel. And then last of all, my push live channel. This has 3 different racks. So here's the Allegria pad. And watch this. If I do clip automation down here, if I click on this bodega, watch, now this will change. So that is a good segue into talking about clip automation. So this is the basic gist of my live set. That my set goes from top to bottom. If you look over on the left, it usually goes in from slower BPMs to higher BPMs. Most of my scenes are tempo automated, so that I can just simply hit a scene over here on the push and it will instantly change my BPM. So that's super helpful, right? You'll also notice just on my master, I just have a simple limiter down here. That keeps it easy. On each one of my songs, I tend to do like an intro that's a small loop so I can do some jamming. And then it will go to the song form. See down here, here's the form. And then it will go to some kind of drum loop out. So that's my formula. Intro loop, form, and then a loop out. That gives me flexibility. So I tend to do jamming a lot at the transitions of stuff, and then I'll play the form down and play the parts. That has really worked for me over the years. Okay, so let's talk about 2 game-changing elements for a live performance set, and this is really the crux of what this deluxe template can offer you. The first one is clip automation. The second one is follow actions. These are all automations that happen in real time that allow you to be hands-free and focusing on playing music or performance, okay? So let's look at the 3 decks here. They all have the same drum clip. If you look down in the clip view in the lower section of my screen, look, it's the same wave, right? So let's listen to clip number 1 and see what we notice. And I'm going to shift tab so we can see our auto filters here. So Look, as the clip goes, we get a high pass. And you'll notice right here, it's going to stop. Okay, so this clip, it's a high pass and it stops after 4 measures. So if I double click on the clip and we go over here to the envelopes tab, then we can select in our envelopes, and anything that has a red dot has automation. So we can see in the auto filter, the frequency went from 34 Hertz all the way up to 35. Okay. Now here's a very cool trick. This clip in itself, look, is only 1 measure long that's looping, right? But my clip automation here, look, it's 4 measures long. So the trick there is you click on this unlink, right? So it's a link loop. It would only be a measure of automation. If I unlink it, I can make it longer. So I can go down here and I can do 4 measures and write that out. So let me undo it so you see that's what I have. And then over here in follow actions, after 4 measures, it stopped. So I also had to unlink that because my follow action is longer than the clip itself. Takeaway is you can do automation that is a different length than the length of your loop. So in this case, I had a 1 measure loop right here, and it had, after 4 measures, the clip stopped, and over the course of 4 measures, we were cutting out all the lows. Let's look at clip number 2. This is a low pass and it stops. So it's the same idea. The follow actions are unlinked. So after 4 measures, it's going to stop. But over here in our clip automation, you'll see it's auto filter number 2, and it's going from high frequencies to low frequencies. So let me show you the devices, and now I'll play the clip and let's listen. See the frequencies go lower, and this flashing light means it's going to stop. So anytime you see that flashing light there at the bottom, or you see these stripes in the clip in and of itself, it means there's follow actions. All right, let's go to the third one, slightly different. Follow action still, it stops after 4 measures. Here's the cool thing about follow actions. You don't have to stop. We could have gone to the next clip. We could have played it again. So I use a variety of these in my live set. Now here's the cool thing in this one, and you notice from the title, it says beat. It's the beat with a pitch down and stop. So over here in the clip, we have the pitch transposition going down. So it's blue, so technically that's modulation. So what that means is in the clip in and of itself, our pitch will stay here and we'll see a blue line go down. It's the same idea of automation, it's just a different way to do it. Let's listen to how it sounds. So look right here. See that little blue line? Yeah, it was kind of subtle. So what I could do is just do like a way more drastic one. Let's go down and up, and then you can see how that looks. So you can really see it move now. And now it's going back up. Before I leave these beats, let's talk about what's going on over here with the scenes. So you can do follow actions in scenes now with Live 11. So if I click on a scene, look in the bottom left corner, I have a possibility for follow action. So in this one, after 4 measures, it's going to go to next. And then scene 2, it's the same idea. After 4 measures, I'm going to go next. What's the big deal? Well, you could have a whole scene worth of clips that will all go, and you don't have to do follow actions on every one of those clips. Another cool thing about triggering scenes with follow actions is you can do tempo jumps. I did that a few times in that performance video as well. So watch this. I'm going to click on the first scene. I've got a little crash symbol on the final track, so it's easier to hear when each scene starts, and that is also in that template as well. And let's listen. Here we go. So you'll find that each scene will have a BPM shift. Check it out. 1 with a high pass. Right, and we're at 85. All the lows are getting cut out. Now we're going to go to scene 2. Right, now we're at 96 BPM. And we're cutting out all the highs. And then we'll be on scene 3. Oh, now we're at 60 BPM. And we're having all that pitch automation that I showed you earlier. Cool. So that discusses follow actions in clips and scenes, and also some clip automation inside these clips. So those are clips that are playback tracks. Let's look at these clips in the live channels, because that's kind of exciting. So for example, right here, here is the guitar track. This is a slightly new rack. It's got some extra settings in here. So look at this. This clip right here, it's called 4 dB bump on. So when I click on that, this utility turns on and it gives us a 4 dB bump. So say you want to have a portion of your tune or a scene where you want a louder instrument. You can, inside your follow actions, look at this. It is all the way down here, utility, and it's just device on and the gain. Now if I want that off, I can go down here and click on that, and it's just the opposite. It's turned off. So you'll notice in these live channels, I'm on monitor in. So the clip in and of itself is inconsequential. It's the automation that's attached to it. So I just have, this is just a tiny one shot, and it's the same one shot for both of them. That is on my guitar channel an instance of how to use clip automation to turn on and off devices. Now let's look over here on the keys channel. We've got a clean Rhodes. Let me turn this on. And you can use this for any live channel. I just wanted to give you 2 different examples. So this one is an example of how to change macros inside your clips. So here is our clean Rhodes, right? And then watch this. When I click on this one, it turns, we'll see on my macros how they changed. So now we have a different setting. Right? It's all dubbed out. So look inside these clips, and anything that has a red mark, you can see the changes that I made. Let's go over to my push. You don't need a push for this. This can just be even as easy as your computer keyboard. So if we click on this clip automation, we're going to hear the chimes. You look down below, the chime chain is on, right? So now I hear chimes. Now watch this. And I can, if I'm in note mode, watch, on my push, right? Now if I click on the live pad, it's going to change. Look down here. Now the live pad is playing and it sounds like this. So this is a really cool way to have one MIDI track that's a keyboard track, whether it's your push or a piano or something like that, and use clips to change your sound so you don't have to use a pedal board or any kind of knob twisting or anything like that. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so now so we've done live audio in and we've done live MIDI in. You notice they're all in monitor in. And then the loop channel, I discussed my signal flow earlier in this video, but let's look at the follow actions here. So for each one of these, if I click on a 2-bar loop, look, so down here, the 2-bar chain is on. And so look at this. This is a looper with record 2 bars and then go to playback. My second chain will be 4 bars. So if I click on this clip, the looper will turn on and so will the chain. And then right here with the 1-bar looper, now this chain turns on and so does the looper. And then everything else after that, these devices stay the same. The reason why I did this is because you can't MIDI map the record length. So it kind of forced my hand
to have to create different chains with different looper lengths so that I didn't have to do mouse clicking in the middle of my set. So that is the gist of this deluxe set. Drop me a comment, drop me a like so I can move up in those heady algorithms. Thanks for watching. Got a super cool EP coming out this week with my friend Emancipator. It's called Citrus Fever Dream. We worked really hard on it over about a year and a half. We recorded in his studio up near Mount Hood in Oregon. So check it out. Let me know if you have any comments. Thank you for watching so much. Hope this helped. And check out that live performance if you haven't. It was a really hard working and rewarding experience. Peace.